This is Susan Holmes again. I'm bringing forward another video where I'm going to reveal more evidence that the Fort Collins District Attorney, CSUPD, and other police agencies work together to promote false evidence in the homicide of my 19-year-old son's Jeremy Holmes. This is going to be, once again, part 2. I have a statement I'm going to read here in a few minutes. This is a very, difficult thing to do when I have to keep putting out this information. It's very traumatic. And I just want the public to understand that my efforts here are to expose what the DA and what the police did to Jeremy and what they've done to his family. And part of the thing that they've done to the family is gaslighting us, traumatizing us even worse because of their lies. I believe it's absolutely intentional. They like traumatized people when they want to suppress information about a murder or a killing by one of their officers of a citizen. I absolutely believe that they intentionally work with the trauma to ensure that they can promote their false narrative, and there has been and still is a completely false narrative involved in my son's homicide by CSU officer Phil Morris. Now, I laid out the evidence in my first evidentiary documentary, which is online, where I actually proved that Jeremy was not a threat and he didn't go into the village. There was no reason to intercept him and kill Jeremy. He hadn't done anything. I proved that in my documentary. I proved that the DA lied in his criminal conclusions that he published in July. I proved that he lied. Okay? I've continued to put evidence forward, and I will continue today. The focus of the evidence I'm going to present here today has to do with the fake and false dispatch call promotion. The reason why, from the very beginning, the DA and the police have promoted this illusion that Jeremy's mom, myself, Susan Holmes, called and made a 911 emergency phone call. I have disputed that forever, from the time I found out that they'd done that. It took months before I found that out. But once I found out, I've been disputing it, because I never made an emergency phone call. That was intentional. But they keep promoting it. Because why? Why is that so important? It's very, very important because that gives them a reason to kill Jeremy, to intercept him and kill him. That's the reason why they promote it. It sounds so simple, like, well, why are you disputing that you called the police? I'm not disputing that I called the police. I contacted them, but I contacted them with their non-emergency number. That was intentional on my part. Completely intentional. I thought about it before calling them. The reason why I called them, very big, important reason. I did not call them to hunt my son Jeremy Holmes down. I called the 9 emergency number to ask them if they would take a message to my older son in Aggie Village. That is what I asked them to do, because I couldn't get through to him on a cell phone or my daughter-in-law's cell phone. I testified to this in the open records case. That's a fact. But you won't find that on the dispatch call, because they altered the dispatch call. They deleted my initial requests, they took my voice, and they restated it to state things that fit their narrative for why they killed Jeremy. That's what they did. The police do it all the time. Ronaldo Chavez from the crime lab in the Albuquerque PD has come forward as a whistleblower and has laid out these practices via his attorney in a whistleblower lawsuit. He was in the crime labs when the police were consistently altering audio and video footage to fit any of their narratives. Ronaldo Chavez, just look him up. Just Google him. The police crime labs in Fort Collins, especially CSUPD, worked to alter that dispatch call. Now, I can't prove that. I can't prove it because in my open records lawsuit, which the judge ruled against me, I asked for the unredacted, time-stamped, original independent audio files of everything, and they refused to give them to me. If you call them, they'll say, oh yeah, we gave her audio files. They're lying. They never gave me the original unredacted timestamp copies. They spliced together audios from who knows where, all over the place. There's no timestamp, there's no metadata, there is nothing on the spliced videos. I specifically asked for original timestamp raw data, independent audio files and body camera footage. Judge ruled against me. Why? I'm going to restate it like I did in part 1. The reason why is because they know I will take those files to an independent forensics crime lab and have them analyzed. And I will be able to prove that they altered the audio and they altered the body camera footage. That's why Judicial Aid did not rule in my favor, because they're protecting CSU, they're protecting violent police officers, and they're protecting the district attorney. Now, one thing, there's a number of things I can prove. Like I said, I proved in my documentary that Jeremy did not deserve to die. He never was a threat to anyone. That he didn't go into Aggie Village, which the DA stated that he had done. In his criminal conclusions, he stated that Jeremy was on his way into Aggie Village when Officer Phil Morris intercepted him. And I proved that wasn't true, according to his statement. I proved it. Number 1 lie proved. That's also the very lie that I filed a complaint with the bar in Colorado on this DA. And sent a complaint. This is all on my website. Now, the purpose of this video is to talk about the other fact that I can prove. I never made a 911 emergency phone call. I made a non-emergency call to dispatch. You're going to see that at the end of this tape. I'm going to provide the phone records so you can see it. I don't have the records from my lawsuit to be able to take to analysis, but I can show you in so many ways that they lie. And here's number 1 lie, that I made a 911 phone call to emergency. Lie, total lie. You'll see it in the phone records at the end of this. I'll also be providing an article below with the same records. Now, before I end this video, I want to make a statement to the public and to any attorneys who are representing the public against corrupt police officers, corrupt police agencies, and corrupt DAs. This statement identifies the way that the DA, the Fort Collins DA, and the police agencies crafted their false narrative in the death of my son, Jeremy Holmes. And here's my statement. To the public, to the U.S. Attorney, to the Department of Justice, to the Attorney General of Colorado, please reopen this case. A false narrative was generated and sustained in the homicide of Jeremy Holmes. The suppression of information was highly organized and was carried out by the Fort Collins law enforcement agencies. Exploiting the traumatized family was essential to implementing and controlling the false narrative. The steps applied to ensure the cover-up in the slaughter of my son Jeremy Holmes were: 1. Nonstop lies promoted by DA and police. 2. Providing information to the media instead of the family. 3. Ambushing the family in the emergency room. 4. Demonizing a suicidal teen as a criminal. 5. Restricting access to any information or records. 6. Denying access to body camera footage, especially denying access to unredacted, timestamp, original raw data body camera footage. And 7. Tampering with evidence. They altered the audio files and the body camera footage. Thank you for listening. And I ask everyone I've identified on here, including the public, to have this case opened again. You will see the evidence that I did not make a 911 emergency phone call to the police. I would never do that to have them hunt down my child. Ever. The other thing you will see is you'll see the tweet that was sent to Saja Hindi at the Colorado in December 2018, asking her to correct her article on the fact that she was stating there was a 911 emergency phone call. That tweet was sent to her with the phone records, and she corrected the article. Susan Holmes.